Under the shining lights of Manhattan, a man enjoyed the high life,
To myself already. Why you wanna run around the night so petty?
sipping champagne and calling himself Clark Rockefeller.
When I called already, we just doing it.
And a new book by journalist and author Walter Kern sheds personal light on the man who claimed to be a Rockefeller.
Claiming to be part of the famous oil-rich Rockefeller family. But it was all fake. He was actually Christian Karl Gerhartsreiter, a man from Germany who spent years lying his way into high society. For a long time, no one knew the truth, but in 2008, everything came crashing down, and his real identity was finally exposed. In 1978, a German teenager named Christopher Chichester arrived in New York City. He did not speak English and told people he came from Bavarian nobility. He moved to California and lived for free in a widow's guest house for pretending to be connected to important people and saying he made movies. In 1985, a couple named John and Linda, who lived nearby, disappeared mysteriously. Years later, in 1994, John's bones were found buried in the garden, but Linda was never found. Meanwhile, Christopher Chichester vanished without a trace and was never seen again. By the early 1990s, Gerhardsreiter changed his identity again. This time he showed up in New York City calling himself Clark Rockefeller, pretending to be part of the famous and wealthy Rockefeller family. He told people he owned expensive art and worked on billion-dollar business deals. He dressed fancy and acted like a rich man.
I would like to introduce you to the marvelous, the magnificent, the talented and spiritually gifted Jasmine J. Walker.
I put my mind to it, then I got my pen and put my grind to it. Never easy, it was hard from the get-go. Start my obstacles, Jazzy been through it.
In 1995, he fooled Sandra Boss, a smart businesswoman from Harvard, and they got married. They bought a nice house in Boston and another property in New Hampshire. In 2001, they had a daughter named Rain. Clark stayed home to take care of her while Sandra worked and earned money. He lived off her income, hiding his real identity in plain sight. On the outside, his life looked perfect, but in 2007, things started falling apart. His wife, Sandra Bose, found out that Clark Rockefeller was a fake name. She filed for divorce. The court gave her full custody of their daughter and $800,000. He was allowed to visit his daughter, but he had lost his house and money. Left with nothing, he disappeared from their lives, at least for a while. On July 27, 2008, during a supervised visit in Boston, Clark Rockefeller suddenly ran off with his daughter. He threw her into a car and drove away. The news went global. A rich man had kidnapped his own child. Police searched everywhere, even using helicopters. A few days later, they found him in Baltimore living under a fake name, Chip Smith, pretending to be a yacht captain. He looked very different, pale, bearded, and wearing glasses. Luckily, his daughter was safe, but his lies had finally been exposed. Detectives began to piece together a stunning picture. A fingerprint from a decade-old license application linked this man to an old Connecticut case. Prosecutors revealed the deadly connection. After the Soha's disappearance in 1985, the tenant, Christopher Chichester, simply vanished the same year. Two canvas bags found at the San Marino property bore logos from universities Gerhartsreiter once attended. Inside those bags were bone fragments, the remains of John Sohus. Gerhardsreiter was finally charged with murder. In 2013, Christian Gerhartsreiter, who pretended to be Clark Rockefeller, was found guilty of murder. He had fooled people for years, including his wife. The court sentenced him to 27 years to life in prison. His fake life ended, and his true identity was finally revealed. Alright, so guys, this was the wrap for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.